should be about ready to go. There seems to be a bit of delay in the stream for some reason. Oh, I see. There's delay on purpose. Okay, so there's a bit of sync between the players. We can see Jupiter has just started. Gods666 is now loading in. But that's fine. That shouldn't deter us from a really nice race, an exciting race.
Yeah, absolutely. About 20 seconds apart, but yeah, we're now seeing the Gods is making his way to Prologue.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not familiar with the game, the prologue is sort of important, especially if you're playing the randomizer, because usually the quicker you kill Dracula, it should always be under a minute, and depending on how many hearts you collect, you'll be given stuff in one way or another. One of those would be stats, and the other thing would be 2 or 3 random items that you start with at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
you see
exactly.
Jupiter's game has frozen as well. This might be done on purpose just to sync up the... Yeah, there we go. Sync up the timers. Okay, so we are exactly even right now.
Yeah, God seems to have a small lead getting out of Prologue here, probably because of stacks.
Okay, seems so. I didn't get to see if any other players... Well, it seems Gods666 wasn't hit because he's starting on 80 HP, and neither did Jupiter. So
yeah,
that's good for them. Let's take a look at the starting equipment. It is a 2-hit sword with not a really good hitbox, but it should suffice to kill these first enemies.
and a nice cape collar too.
Oh
That's a really big deal.
So, fun fact, originally that cape is meant to be red on the inside and the outside, but the randomizer also changes a few more quirks of the game here and there. One of them being the cape color.
Jupiter seems to have a little bit more trouble than Gods getting out of the first room with the zombies. So Gods seems to have a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, you're getting juggled a little bit, might be the nerves. I've raced this game plenty of times, and the nerves sometimes still get to me, so that's completely understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so again, for those of you who are not familiar with the game, at the beginning of the game, in one of these like very mythical cutscenes, death takes away all of your powerful equipment, and you are left basically naked. But with that being said, one of the cool things about this game is that you can just punch your way through the castle in the early stages, and you'll be fine. You know how to use your hand.
Yeah, the fists are actually a good attacking option because if you can hit close enough to the enemies, it will actually double hit, so you will double the damage output, and it's pretty useful.
Yep. And that's usually enough to like one hit, quote unquote, most enemies at the beginning. We're seeing both players check some equipment as well. Sorry, Gods666 checking some of the equipment. And since the Season 3 update to the randomizer, menuing has become a lot more time consuming than it used to be, because you need to check for... so the items, stats, and sprites are randomized, which means that you might get something like a Mablin sword, which is probably one of the best swords in the game, but in this version of the randomizer, everything changes, so it might have the stats and the hitbox of the weakest sword in the game.
Yeah, so the description is exactly what you're looking for, that depicts the item correctly. So yeah, although Gods got out of the prologue with a small lead, seems like Jupiter has just surpassed him. So
yep. So apparently that Vorpal sword they pick, Vorpal blade has really good stats. what, 45 attack bonus, which is really good.
Yeah, and it's actually Alucard shield, if I saw it correctly, so it has good attack speed and flexibility to range.
Indeed. Yeah, so they got through the first boss of the game really quickly. This is a very trivial fight if you're used to the game. So nothing unexpected, really.
Yeah, they're pretty even right now in the same room, and I don't think anyone got a drop that it's impactful. So yeah,
not yet. So one such impactful drop could be a thrust sword, which allows you to dive kick of candles, and that means you might be able to access some locations you would otherwise not be able to access. But nothing so far. Really.
Yeah, library cards could be huge as well, but
oh yes,
nothing so far.
Yeah. So again, like for those viewers who are not familiar, would you like to explain, Matthews, how the game randomizes locations?
Yeah, so the game takes the possible relic locations in the vanilla game and randomizes the relics amongst them. And since I believe it was season 2 of the randomizer, it was added a couple of extra locations, like behind boss fights, just to make so we had to explore and see more of the game while playing the randomizer. In the casual preset specifically, anything can be anywhere pretty much as long as it's accessible. So players should pretty much have to check every single location until they have everything they need to finish the game.
That's it, yeah. So this is called a guided extension, which means some relics can be placed behind bosses, and this was added right before Season 2 of the randomizer. Also on this note, we can see they have picked up Jewel of Open. Now, in this preset, or actually in any other preset, you don't really want to see Jewel of Open unless you've got more movement options, which these players don't have. So we're going to see if anyone decides to go down to the cavern, although it's usually not a good play in the early stages, especially considering how the logic works in this preset. But you never know.
Yeah, going down is kind of a risky play, because if you find no progression down there, you're kind of stuck and far away from the other checks. So, especially God's got a 2000 bag drop, so going to the library is more attractive to him.
That's big. That's really
yeah, exactly. Jupiter might need to farm for a little bit of money if the relic that's sold in the shop is something that he needs, so that can save Gods a lot of time.
Yeah,
that alone.
Especially if they find something game-changing, like a cheap library card, maybe a cheap mana prism. I would also say a cheap duplicator, but since the cheapest that one can be is like 3,000, I don't think they're going to be able to purchase it.
Yeah, unless they find a sellable or more money drops.
Of course.
The accessory is out of range as of yet.
Okay, so from the looks of the hitbox, they have either Alucard sword or Alucard with a T at the end sword. Not sure which one it is.
Yeah, I think I saw Mother's family heirloom in the description, so I'm pretty sure it's Alucard sword, which is the better of the two.
And that's a 3-hit, very respectable damage output. Okay, so you might see these players are literally cheesing Doppelganger. This is, if you have played this game at least casually, you know this guy has probably been a nightmare for you. He has a very reactive AI, but it's just cheap tricks. If you know how to loop him, then he's no threat at all.
Yeah, the downside is that he can only be hit once, and then he takes a long animation full of iframes, so it's good that both players had a high damage sword to speed up that fight.
Yeah. Okay, so they have both decided to actually activate the elevator. Usually in this scenario, some people opt to go straight to the library and then activate the elevator once they're done with the library, but I guess this is fine. I am a fan of what Gods666thChild is doing, which is opening the entrance shortcut, especially if they plan on going to the caverns. Oh,
That's
he
a
was
bait.
baited. You got a meal ticket. Okay, so the meal ticket shares a sprite with one of the items, the game-changing items we were mentioning earlier, which is the library card. And yeah, when you're playing the game and you are hopeful you're going to find a library card, which opens a lot of routing possibilities, but then you find a meal ticket, you're like, come on, bro, really?
Yeah, they have the exact same sprite, so people get baited a lot in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like going up there and opening up the elevator, get that one extra item check right before going to the library, so we can change the amount of money that you have, or also the focus you can have in the equipment.
Oh, we have that already. Okay,
Yeah.
this is big. So, remember when I said I was a fan of what Gods666thChild was doing? Well, I take that back.
Yeah. that gets invalidated now because of the best movement option being found so early into the run.
There we go. Yep. Okay, so you might be seeing Jupiter flying around. That's called Wing Smash, and that is a spell you can combine. You can perform with a bat. And the good thing is you can keep it going for as long as you have mana if you keep chaining the inputs. So the inputs for this spell, it might sound a bit too complicated, but it's, I don't know, you get used to it. So it's a 3/4 circle while you press jump, and then once you're pressing forward, you let go of jump, and you've got yourself a wing smash.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to it, but once you do it, it's kind of, it feels natural. So yeah, the shop had rebuff lead. I don't think Jupiter had the cash to purchase it, so
Yeah, that would be no problem because they have to come back here once they get missed. Probably.
yeah,
Most
likely.
I have seen. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, most likely. But since this is casual, there might be not a need to go back. So
Oh, good
that
point.
might cost. Yeah, that can
that
cost
totally
him.
happen.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are library cards in the shop, but they are 5,000 gold, and there's also cheap mana prisms, which were 500. So Gods666thChild might have opted to purchase like 2 or 3, as many as he could have, because that is certainly an advantage when using the bat.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would opt to do that early into the run. I feel like in the first castle you can route excuse me, you can route pretty easily around having low mana, so maybe saving a little bit of that cash for elaborate card later in the run might be also impactful.
Yeah. Well, I guess we will see depending on how things play out. But so far we can see Jupiter has a sizable lead. He's half an area ahead, like one full area ahead in terms of like time. So yeah, this might still be because of Gods' decision to open the entrance shortcut, which takes about 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah, we might see a kind of a route split here if Gods opts to warp to entrance and do the alchemy lab instead of going to keep. Most likely he'll check Fire of Bat here.
Oh, so you're saying he's going to check Fire of Bat and then teleport to entrance? That could be an option. I mean, that is a solid routing choice.
Yeah, I usually do that in that scenario because then it's pretty fluid from alchemy lab up until keep doing the clockwise route.
Okay then. So it seems they're both following the same route. We've got one viewer asking if it's not worth going down now. The problem with that play is you might go down, but then find Merman statue, which is one progression item you need for down there, later into the game, which means you're going to have to backtrack. So it could play out well, but the best thing in this preset is to play it as safe as you can. Safely as humanly possible. So I do agree with both players' decision to just stick to going to keep than finishing off the rest of the castle.
Yeah, it's more viable to do the other areas of the game and saving the caverns, which it still has a couple of areas locked behind relics. And maybe you get lucky and find them before going there, so you can make one trip only.
Yep.
That works
So
out.
a lot of routing, or a big part of routing the randomizer, is all about not leaving loose ends behind you, because that's usually what wastes you the most time. We're gonna see Gotch fight Karasuman, or also known as, I think it's Malphas in the PSVania games. And yeah, he's no threat at all. Jupiter finished him off like a couple of minutes ago.
In the second Blood Relic for Jupiter here, it's actually his first because he didn't buy the one in the shop. But second Blood Relic that we know of up here in the Power of Mist check.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about Blood Relics. So what do you need to finish the game, Matthews?
Yeah, so you need a couple of stuff to finish the game. The first one is Flight, which both players already have with the Bat transformation. Then you need the Holy Glasses to be able to access the second castle while not killing Richter. And he's being controlled by this evil priest called Shaft. And the Holy Glasses, yeah. And the Holy Glasses allow you to see Shaft and just destroy his control over Richter, so you can access the second castle without killing Richter, which is a good character, so killing him would be bad. And after that,
that would be the bad ending of the game.
Exactly. So after doing that, you need the 5 Glad Relics, 5 pieces of the Drak, to be able to access the final area of the game and fight Shaft.
Sorry to interrupt you, but speaking of which, we know the location of 3 red relics by now. So Jupiter just found Heart of Blood in the Alchemy Lab. So yeah, continue.
Yeah, exactly. So as soon as they have the 5th Blood Relic, all 5, they can just rush into the end of the game and finish the run. So seeing the already 3 only 16 minutes in is pretty huge. This can make for a quick seed.
Oh yes, it could be the quickest of seeds, or it could be the loop-to-loop kind of a seed, where the last one is like literally in the other end of the game, and then instead of it being like a 40-minute seed, it could be like an hour and 15. But we'll see. I'm hopeful they can finish this sort of quickly, because long seeds can end up being kind of painful.
Yeah, exactly. The sooner they can finish this one, they're gonna do back-to-back, so there's gonna be another race after this. So if this takes less time, it's good for both players to not get too tired with a longer seed.
Indeed. Especially if they're going to play another match. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got another viewer asking what the settings for this mode are. So they are playing, this is for you, JD Silvergun. They are playing the casual preset, which is minimum complexity. That means there's no really like a definite number of steps needed to complete the game. It's all random. They are using random items and stats, and they are following the safe logic, which means no speedrun tricks, no glitches, no nothing are needed to finish the game, just good movement skills and not dying.
Yeah, so Jupiter's route just turned out to be the best thing that he chose to do, because he just found a library card, so
there we go.
Not farming for money there was the correct choice for his routing here.
Yeah, so he's got easy access back to the library. So at the beginning I said you usually want not to backtrack, but sometimes the game doesn't give you any other choice. Like, there's no choice but to backtrack. And this seems to be one such case.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to avoid it as to the best of your ability, but sometimes it's the thing that the game wants you to do, so no way around it.
Okay, so we can also see Jupiter's lead is widening by the second. His movement is very, very tight, playing pretty well, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. He's the top seed in the qualifiers, so yeah, he has been playing really well lately.
Indeed. So yeah, like the best thing you can do in this sort of preset, especially if you've got good movement options, is just perfect your execution. You know, measure your wing smashes. Trying to preserve a bit of MP for long climbing sections or for long wing smashing sections. And yeah, it seems he's actually doing that fairly well. Gotch just found the library card as well, so that's also going to give him the same advantage as Jupiter.
Yeah, exactly. They have a quick warp to the library. Yeah, Compact S where is Reed was for sale in the shop, so that's why Gods has it and Jupiter doesn't, because Gods got a $2,000 bag drop and Jupiter didn't have enough cash to buy, so he chose to go back for it later.
Yeah. And to answer the second question, yes, Jupiter did get the library card. Oh my god, he found secret boots! So, secret boots is one of those like meme items in the game. Originally in the vanilla version, the only purpose is just to make Alucard like 3 pixels taller. But here in the randomizer, you can also have random stats, and probably the funniest thing that can happen to you is that the secret boots have Ring of Vada stats. So for those of you who are not familiar with the game, once again, the Ring of Vada is the one single OP item in the game. It provides you with 30 strength, 30 int, and then a bit more on the other stats. So basically, it turns any F tier weapon into an A or S tier weapon. And he equipped them, so I'm thinking, you know, those boots might have something on them. We're gonna see if Gots picks them up, and we're gonna see what the stats on them are.
Yeah, let's keep an eye out for that, because Jupiter had actually a quick fight against Auroch, so he must have an attack buffer of some sort.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so speaking of Olrox, we have discovered there's a secret character in the game called Zorlo. That's Olrox's son. I'm joking. I'm just gonna draw that joke.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, God's up too. Ooh,
Oh,
he came back for the secret boots. Yeah,
yeah,
he
the
knows.
meme is too strong.
Yeah. But yeah, Jupiter is more than a full check ahead, so
Yes.
pretty solid lead so far.
Oh,
But
there's Mammoth Statue. That's what I was saying about going to caverns first. There we go. Well played, well played. Good route.
yeah, so I think Gods can make up some time here if he chooses
Wait.
not
The
to.
stats
Ooh.
on the secret boots? Ah, it's nothing.
It's nothing, yeah. Yeah, God can make up a lot of time, as Razio pointed out, if he can avoid the trip back to the library, and since he already got every check except the locked behind Mist Gate one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that may be what comes into his favor here, and might even give him the lead. We'll see.
I'm curious as to why God decided to use the Alucard Sword special on Olrox, because I'm pretty sure like the max DPS you can do with that sword is just timing your slashes instead of using the special. Might be wrong though.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure as well, but jump slashing with double hitting might be faster than what God's up to do. I agree.
Okay, so we see Jupiter leaving the Orox's quarters, and he seems to be heading to the caverns now, which is like the perfect route once again. Actually, both players have solid routes this seed, and we're gonna see what they found down there.
Yeah, since Jupiter already did keep and also Gods, it makes sense to come back now and to the lower parts of the castle, especially since they found Merman statue, so they can make that a one trip only.
Yeah. And you yourself, as a random player, you know how annoying it is having to backtrack down here once you're like done with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Finding Merman statue buried deep in the second castle and have to come back for it is one of the worst feelings in the randomizer.
Big oof indeed.
Yeah, there's still potential for a trip back from the second to the first castle, because there are still a couple of locked checks in the first. The ones locked behind Mist Gate and the Holy Glasses check that requires the gold and silver wing, and they only have the silver one so far.
Okay, so I'm curious about this decision. Gods decided to use the library card after opening a shortcut to get to Olrox's quarters from Chapel. I don't know if that's actually faster than just going to the caverns as Jupiter did, because there's no progression he can complete in the library right now, so...
Yeah, maybe he's opting to go to the second castle and skip the caverns for now.
But he hasn't got glasses.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to just purchase mana prisms. He had some money.
Yeah, he had a couple of sellables, but they didn't sell for a lot, so. Yeah, with no infinite mana, this doesn't look like it's faster at all.
Yeah. Okay, so we see Jupiter just plowing through the bosses. Earlier, he killed Suki. Oh my god, that's 4 Vlad relics. We know the location of. Wow.
Only 1 to go. So again, as soon as they have all 5 Vlad relics and the Holy Glasses, they can just go straight to the end of the game. So 2 progression items required for them to finish. That's pretty.
I wonder if they're gonna go with the density aspect of this preset, or if there's gonna be any spicy gambles with this seed.
As soon as they find Holy Glasses, it could be argued that the play would be to go to the second castle because there's a lot more checks there.
Yeah. What would you do, Matthews? That's a tough choice, honestly.
It is, exactly, especially in this in a tournament race. I feel like leaving a check behind is it's risky.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, those 2 are pretty proficient with their movement and execution.
Oh, so look at that beautiful wing smashing from Jupiter.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest room in the game to wing smash through, and he did it almost perfectly. That requires a lot of skill. But yeah, I would probably feel behind facing either one of those 2 players, so maybe a gamble is the advantage that I need to maybe win. So I'd probably, upon finding Holy Glasses, I would maybe go into the second castle and bet on density. What would you do?
Me, I just do not like gambles. If I skip checks, there's something in the back of my head like just repeating over and over again. You have messed up, for lack of a better word. I think in a tournament setting, I've only skipped checks once, and that was against Jupiter actually, because I was sure I was like so far behind that I need to skip this in order to win.
Yeah, I think that gambles in tournament races, I would do them only in those scenarios. Like if I have the feeling that I'm behind and I need to skip some checks to be able to win.
Yeah. Okay, we see Jupiter checking entrance. I'm pretty sure Gods666thChild decided to take entrance when he teleported to the castle entrance. Both ways of going about it are fine actually. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. But I do believe it's a bit faster if you go straight from entrance. And okay, he has found Spike Breaker, so that's not a necessary item in this preset, but it is pretty convenient, especially for the dark room, which makes it like insanely trivial. Together with if you have what's the yellow bat?
Echo bat. Yeah, Gods picked it up for safety reasons, but having the Spike Breaker here is way better because it ensures that you will not take any damage there. And if I recall correctly, the spikes always take 10% of your health, so you can only take so many hits despite having high HP.
Correct. Okay, so I don't think Jupiter found anything at Merman Statue, the location that is.
Yeah, it was solo wolf there, so not required.
Oh man, I would have picked it up. I do like the wolf.
Yeah, it could be useful if you don't have Mace and having a second transformation to regain control of your momentum and while in smashing. That could be have some niche applications there.
Okay, so for a second there, I almost had a heart attack. I thought Godchild forgot you can actually softlock after fighting this boss if you do it too quickly. But he actually went the entire way the other way, so he's fine. He should be fine.
Yeah, exactly. The water went up and down, and that's the cue for
he's
entering the
good,
room.
he's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jupiter about to enter the abandoned mine and about to fight Cerberus.
Yeah, Jupiter seems to have a solid lead here, especially after Gods kinda wasting his library card, which could help a lot with escape.
That's definitely going to change the outcome of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Because Jupiter has a clean way of leaving the catacombs and Gods doesn't, so he's gonna probably have to go up into the warp and go to the warp animations, and that's gonna take a lot of time.
Indeed, yeah. Okay, so I see some of the one of the viewers confused about the shield sprites. So even though items and sprites are randomized, if you see a shield sprite, the shield's actually going to have like that shape. Oh, there's a second library card in the catacomb, so Gods is fine actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't waste that much time.
There we go. But yeah, as I was saying, if you find like a Medusa head-shaped shield, that's gonna be Medusa head, Medusa shield.
Yeah, shields are generally really good when you don't have better ways to move, because then it allows for shield dash canceling, which is way faster.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked about shield dashing.
Yeah, I feel like you're the better man to talk a little bit about that, so please go ahead.
Okay then, so basically there's like this dodge move the developers included in the game, which is backdashing. Now backdashing alone is actually faster than walking, but the fastest one can go is actually cancelling the backdashing animation with the shield in a succession that you do shield backdash, shield backdash, shield backdash, like that. The thing about shield dashing is it doesn't have to be really fast. Like there's no point in doing that if you're gonna stutter. You just keep a steady rhythm and try to keep it smooth. So, but yeah, you might have seen him like moonwalking everywhere. That's actually shield dashing. Oh wow!
Oh, Jupiter didn't save Split? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if anyone's wondering why we're not talking about boss fights, it's because they are like insanely easy in this game. Like there's nothing to highlight from them really. You have seen they're literally plowing through the bosses like with no issue whatsoever.
Yeah, especially since they have a good sword that does good damage with good hitboxes, so it makes for pretty trivial boss fights.
Yep. And I am pretty sure they have some kind of stat buff. Maybe like a plus 10 strength or plus 15 or something.
Yeah, Jupiter is doing 56 damage per hit with his sword, so
nice.
That's good, but if they get into the final of the game with this low damage, it's probably not gonna one cycle Dracula, so it can waste a little bit of time there.
Oh yeah. We're gonna see if they decide to check their equipment before the final fight.
Holy glass!
To make sure they can. Oh, okay. Wait, where was Echo?
Echo of that was earlier in the game. I believe Alchemy Lab, if I'm not mistaken.
I was asking because the game should always provide you with a safe way to check the blind room. It won't send you there without Echo of Bat at all in this preset. So
yeah. Yeah, Gods picked it up for safety reasons, while Jupiter opted not to.
Alright, nice. Okay, so
and Jupiter has... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Jupiter has a lot of money.
Oh my god. Okay, you go, Matthews, you go.
Yeah, Jupiter had a lot of money there, so he was able to purchase about 20 mana prisons, 18 to be precise, nice. So that's gonna help a lot with his movement. He pretty much has infinite mana to route the second castle with, and that's gonna be really huge for his movement.
Definitely. It feels really good to have infinite mana in the second castle, indeed.
Yeah, no, they don't have gravity boots yet, so their vertical movement is not the best it can be, but horizontally with bat, they can cover a lot of ground, so it's gonna be
That's it.
fast moving to the second.
Okay, we see Jupiter is about to leave the first castle. He's like 45 seconds away from it. Meanwhile, Gods666thChild is about to get the Holy Glasses, which is what's gonna allow him to get to the second castle. Also, don't be stubborn and equip the Spike Breaker, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you equip the Holy Glasses, you're gonna see this like green ball controlling Richter Belmont. And yeah, you have to kill the green ball. It takes 10 hits from any weapon or any spell to kill the ball. And usually what we do in this game is Summon Spirit, which is this like cloud of gas, I guess, or a spectrum you're going to see on screen. And then a Soul Steal. And that's 8 plus 2 hits, that's a total of 10, and it's a very quick and efficient way to kill it. But I guess if you're low on mana or you have Chrysogrim, there's like other alternative methods to do so. But the one Jupiter did is the main speedrun strat.
Yeah, exactly. I still believe Chrysogrim is faster if you have Lipstone
yes.
to maintain height there, but the most common way to go through that is what you mentioned, Summon Spirit plus Soul Steal. That does exactly the 10 hits needed for the boss fight to end. Boss fight, quote unquote.
Okay, so we are in the second castle for Jupiter. He's about to fight Darkwing Bat. Fun fact, there used to be this really strange bug where if you left the room and there was a progression item, like one of the rings or the Spike Breaker, in this room, then you could crash the game. But luckily that has been fixed in one of the recent patches to the randomizer. Thank you, Mouse, who is the developer of the randomizer.
Yeah, I actually never had that happen to me, but I've seen people get that soft lock, especially in races. That's an awful feeling to have. So yeah, thanks again, Mouse, for fixing it. Appreciate it.
Actually, I think I was the first one to have that happen, and it was during the a Halloween community race, like 2 years ago or something. Not fun.
Oh, really?
Fun.
Yeah, I imagine so. Especially being the first, like it must be a surprise, right?
Yeah, because I didn't know what was happening. I thought it was my ROM, but
yeah, SotN stuff.
okay. So Jupiter is about to fight Medusa. Let's see what she's got. So yeah, I mean, even in the second castle, the bosses are like insanely trivial. Just look at that, just crouching and mashing the slash button.
Yeah, if you know the setup, the proper setup to fight them, you shouldn't have any trouble with the bosses, even in the second castle.
Okay, so Medusa had nothing of interest.
Yeah, neither Darkwing Bat, so yeah, God still has a chance here, but it's looking like Jupiter will take this home, especially given the lead that he has right now.
Yeah, the only thing that would put Gods in the lead would be Jupiter choking, or maybe gambling if he finds Mist or one of the rings. But otherwise, this seed is his for the taking, from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if you... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, I'll go ahead. If this fight coming up can get out of hand really quickly, because if Akmadan, the mummy, poisons you, then you're in for trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't have a good way to deal damage from a range, so it can be worrisome. If you're poisoned and get trapped.
Alucard special, or I guess a Hellfire. That also works.
Yeah, that does a lot of damage because it spawns on top of him, so it takes a lot of damage, a lot of ticks.
Very nice. Okay, very clean fight. Very poised, I have to say, so well played.
Yeah, JG Silvergun, that strat that Gods666thChild used escaping from the library is actually a strat that people use in the glitchless speedrun to preserve MP. So wing smashing takes 8 MP to do. Every time you finish the inputs, it takes away 8 MP. And using the wolf there, although it's a little bit slower, if you don't have power of wolf, which he had, it takes way less MP. So yeah, that strat is useful if you're not comfortable with not comfortable. I mean, if you don't have infinite mana.
Yeah, as Razio pointed out in the chat, every time you hit something with a wolf, whether it be a candle or an enemy or anything that had a hitbox, it takes 5 MP. So if you're able to dodge enemies, then it's like more mana efficient. But otherwise, you know, it depends on the situation.
In the library, it seems like there's not that many stuff with hitboxes to be hit, so it should still be more economical in the MP.
Yeah. Oh, besides, you can just... This is something I do, which is I bark before hitting an enemy when I'm in the wolf form, and that doesn't actually take any energy, because the game interprets it as you biting the enemy instead of hitting it.
Yeah.
Okay, chat telling gods to go left.
Yeah.
That's that used to be part of the meta in the last season, the last tournament, because going left actually won some people some races. But from a density standpoint, is not very efficient. You have to be really lucky to find something like creature.
Yeah.
Right now it's a 1 in how many chances? Like 1 in 5, 6.
Yeah, there's 4 up there and creatures, so yeah, it's 5 in the left side, because the point of going left side is to fight creature early, but also to get to the reverse caverns earlier than your opponent, because your opponent will be doing the right side and a lot of checks while you're pretty much zooming through there.
Ooh, we found the
Go. Yeah,
okay, let's see if Jupe loses it and actually decides to go for it. Oh no, he's going to Beelzebub.
Yeah, I don't think coming back for just one check is the play here. Maybe if you find mist and feel like you're behind, that can be a thing, but just the one check, it takes a lot of time.
Ooh, dropping a wind smash in that room where Jupiter was, that can get really dicey really quickly. But luckily he was able to recover quickly.
Yeah, especially without gravity boots, it's kind of hard to get back into position to zoom through that. So, good job, Jup.
Okay, we see Gods approaching Death Wing's lair, I think it's called, the reverse Orlok's border. So he's about to fight Akmadam. Hopefully he doesn't have any... Oh, Jupiter got poisoned from the worms on the ground. Fighting Beelzebub, this is really dangerous.
Yeah, especially if he gets hit by the bees. Yeah. They do a lot of damage.
Okay, he should be fine as long as... Oh, there's so many flies on... Oh, okay,
there we go, yeah.
Yeah, heart was pounding, man.
Yeah, that's scary for sure. And God's also doing scary fights here.
Oh wow, that's 25 per hit. That's a lot of damage. And fun fact, if you're poisoned, the damage you take doubles up. So it would have been 50 damage per hit if he had been poisoned. But still, good fight.
Yeah, for sure. Just a single hit there is great.
Nothing at Beelzebub. So I'm wondering if Jupe's gonna decide to skip creature or say split for it. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. If we actually find the Ring of Vlad at creature, I'm losing it. I'm just gonna disconnect from the voice chat, like, I swear.
You're gonna leave, okay, that's understandable. Yeah, I feel like you're only looking for a single relic, right? So by pure density, going up and not checking creature is 80% chance of finding there and 20% of it being in creature. So shout outs to Fire for the videos about that.
Yep.
But yeah, looks like Jupiter is not opting to do that, doing safer threads and checking everything. Makes sense, makes sense.
Okay, so we've got Razio saying in chat, Jupe never skips creature. That's not the Jupe I used to know. The Jupe I'm familiar with is the one who gambles quite a bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like his execution improved a lot, so he's doing the, I think, the safer strat, which is check everything and rely on your execution. Yeah.
Wait, you're not getting the cube? But what are you going to do to double? You need to petrify him or something. Well, I would have grabbed the cube, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if it's earlier in the run, I would as well. But this late, the chances of you finding a stopwatch on this hallway alone, pretty much, are really low. So I don't think it's worth the time. I might be wrong, but I don't think I'd grab it as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh well. Yeah, I mean it's just a few candles before double at this stage of the game, so yeah, you're probably right. Okay, God's just finished fighting Trio, and he's gonna get the ring. Let's see what he decides to do in this case.
He's thinking.
Oh, he's gonna save.
He might save split the check. Oof. What? Where is he going?
Yeah, he's just still processing what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
That's completely understandable. It's been
for sure.
45 minutes, and this could be the. Oh, he's saving, so he's gonna use the library card to check the.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a respectable gamble because anything can happen in this preset.
Where is he going?
Wait, what?
Maybe he's going up into B's and warping from there. Why save him?
Oh, so he's safe splitting for that. But then I would have safe split like on the other side of the level of the reverse Colosseum, not there. Well, it's fine.
Look at that movement from... Yeah, that was nice. Crazy. Don't get aimed.
Oh, getting juggled a little bit at the end. It's fine. Also, very nice movement from Jupiter.
Ooh,
there's missed. There's missed.
Do you go back now? Do you fight that? What do you do?
Oh my god, I would scream, honestly.
Yeah, my brain would probably explode.
Yeah. Nah, I would just go for density because it's not uncommon for Galamoth to have the last blood relic. It happens more often than not.
Yeah, but if it's not here, then there's only 2 checks in the second castle and 3 available in the first, so tough choices.
Dude, Jupiter, big brain genius. He poisoned double to do more damage and to weaken.
Yeah, me and Gods, we actually did some testing recently, and that doesn't increase the damage output we do to double. So it's just the sprite that changes and gets poisoned, but it doesn't take double damage from that.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it would be way cooler if it did. Power of Mist, it's a good quality of life relic to have.
Correct, agreed.
Yeah, it doesn't work, Razio. I was doing that a lot, and me and Gods decided to test it out, and it doesn't do anything. My life is a lie.
Okay, do you see Gods666thChild skipping creature, Matthews?
I think he might do in this scenario specifically. I don't think he likes to do that a lot, but he must feel like he's behind with that wrong use of the library card. And just the fact that you're facing Jupiter. You usually feel like you're behind if you're racing him. So he might do that to try and get an advantage.
Okay, so I'm still confused about the save Gods did, because maybe he thought about gambling, but then he rethought the play, and then he's like stuck with just going through the second castle.
Yeah, it could also be the
Oh, graphics,
the
nice.
yeah, that's good, especially here. It
Check this
increases
sick
the
movement
speed.
from Jupe.
Yeah, I cannot do that.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I feel like gods might do that and skip creature, or maybe even warp earlier to the first castle after finding mist, which could give him the advantage, because he must feel he's behind.
Yep. Okay, so Jupe is set, has his eyes set on Galamon, so let's see if he holds the last piece.
Yeah, by density right now, it's actually more likely to be in the first castle than Galamot. It's, if I'm thinking correctly, 25% chance of being at Galamot.
Oh,
So
he's not even doing a safety save. This could get ugly.
yeah, he has miss, power of miss, so he has like a good way to dodge. But yeah, it's scary for sure.
Just keep the rhythm, slow and steady. Okay, he's got it. So this is the cheese strat we use for this boss, otherwise he's like, it's impossible to deal with.
Yeah, hardest boss in the game for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's hard, it's just annoying. He's so big and he just kicks you around, and then he does these repetitive attacks that leave you like cornered. I don't know. I would say Olrox at an early stage of the game is a lot more dangerous than Galamoth.
Yeah, agreed for sure. Ooh, Gods666 using wolf movement here. In the yeah, the wolf with power of wolf actually gets to a higher speed than the wing smash, but it's kind of more awkward to do because you don't have as much control.
That's true, yeah. Okay, so we had a relatively quick fight from Jupiter killing Galamoth.
Let's see what he
Let's
holds.
see.
Spirit
Oh,
Arm.
okay then. So the answer was in the first castle, as you said.
Yeah.
The 25% chances seem statistics are on your side.
So let's see what Gods chooses to do here. If he maybe saves splits and warps to the first castle.
Yeah. So this is the thing about Rando. We saw, I think, 4 blood relics in a span of 20-something minutes. And now we're closing in on the hour mark, and we still haven't found the last blood relic.
Yeah, the seed seemed like it would be like a 40-minute seed, and it's most likely gonna be an hour seed, so very deceiving start for sure. And it is at library.
There we have it.
Yeah, Gods had a pretty good chance if he chose to warp there. They would be pretty much even, I feel like.
If he decides to actually walk back to library, that could, make the end of the race a bit more exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he has better DPS, so he can kill Drake with less cycles, and that can be the deciding factor. But let's see what he chooses to do here. Maybe a save split and warping. No save, so
he's going ahead.
Yeah, I believe apart from Jupiter mistimed death there, it's probably GG's.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't see Jupiter dying to shaft the Dracula, honestly. So
yeah, exactly. Even without the safer strats with Mist and Power of Mist, Jupiter has a pretty
wait. Is God's gonna?
Oh.
He's probably gonna kill Death and then go back to level. That's my guess.
Yeah, he gets one extra check that way. But as we know from seeing both perspectives, it's not gonna be enough time save to get him the win. Ooh, nice stretch from Gods there, using the Alucard Sword special to get to the second phase from a little bit of range. Oh, he's going for Galamoth.
I think he's second guessing himself. Same when he got the ring.
Yeah.
And again, maybe. Like, you know, the game can get to your head.
Oh, he's getting the warp. Okay. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, as Dinner Dog pointed out, if this doesn't work out and the last Red Relic would be at Galamoth, then he would need to fight that twice. So it's kind of a weird spot to do that. Oh, he skipped creature as well? Or did he save split?
I think he did kill creature. Oh my god, he skipped it as well.
Yeah.
He might have save split it. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he did. And what's he doing here?
Going to Galamoth. I'm so confused.
Yeah, maybe some second guessing is probably what's happening here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jupiter is getting to the final part of the game, final rooms here, fighting Shaft, and soon after
he has not changed equipment, so he's gonna fight Shaft with that Alucard sword. See?
Yeah, it shouldn't take a long time. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it has good hitboxes, so it double hits while jump slashing. And yeah, there we go. Shaft done.
Yep.
As I said, I don't think he's gonna one cycle Drek with this damage output, but it most likely will be a 2-cycle fight.
Yeah. But again, sometimes that's all you've got, and you have to make it work. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've been there plenty of times. Okay, so we're gonna see him dodge Dracula's attacks. This fight can be very, very trivial if you know the timing of Dracula's attacks. So he's about to fly away. It's not gonna be a one cycle, it seems. But
it might be close.
A close 2-cycle, yep.
Yeah, agreed. He did a lot of damage there. Almost perfect strats there.
Some players have trouble with this part of the fight because of the heads and the flying triangles, but with Power of Mist, you're fine. You just gas dodge it all.
Yeah, I actually died recently in that exact scenario without any transformation, so it was awkward.
Okay, we've got time for Jupiter. Very well played, well done. GG's to both of these players. Jupiter, such a formidable opponent.
Yeah, great race from both players here. Jupiter got the best route and executed almost perfectly, so that culminated in a win.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a forfeit from Gods666thChild.
Yeah, it makes sense since they're doing back-to-back races, so there's not really a point in finishing the seed up.
Okay, and that's how the tournament begins. That was a very exciting race, a very good seed, all things considered. Usually for casual, you want seeds to be sub-hour. If they go over the 1 hour and 5 minutes mark, then that's when things begin to get a bit boring or dense to deal with.
Yeah,
but yeah,
agreed. Yeah, as I mentioned early, having a kind of quick seed here sub hour is a good time. It's good for both players because they won't be as tired to the next race and maybe the third one, the tiebreaker. So yeah, it's good time for a first race for sure.
Indeed, indeed. Okay then, so I guess before we wrap this up, if there's any questions from chat or if you have any questions about the game, thanks Rezi for the kind comment. But yeah, again, if you'd like to ask anything, feel free to do so.
Yeah, do that while ASD's here because he's way more experienced than I am, so he
Nah, come on,
probably knows more about the game.
you, you've played through enough seats to know this game fairly well.
Yeah, I've been
Um,
playing quite a lot, so yeah.
Okay then. I don't know if like self-promotion is allowed. I'm not gonna promote myself, but I am gonna say if you do like this game, if you want to be part of the Rando community, the SotN community, you are interested in picking up this game, make sure to drop by the Long Library. That is the SotN Discord. You can find an invite on speedrun.com, and yeah, hope find you there. We race fairly often, so. And we're usually very supportive to newcomers. We help them set up. We help them, get comfortable with the bot, with the controls and everything. So yeah, everyone welcome.
Yeah, I'm fairly new to the community as well, and I was very well received with open arms by everybody. So yeah, please, if you like the game, please go there. Everyone will be happy to help you set up and get to know this game as well as we do now and still love it after a lot of decades.
Nice. Okay then. So otherwise, if there's no questions from chat, I guess we're gonna call this a race. We're gonna wrap it up. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for the next race, which should be happening soon, right?
Yeah, I think it's they probably just take a couple of minutes to generate the next race and a quick break, but it should happen right after this one in about 10
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah. So for the next race, if I'm not wrong, you're gonna see Fire 1520. He's mainly a glitchless speedrunner for this game, and he has the emulator world record. So yeah, he's more
Yeah.
than fit to talk about this game.
Yeah, I'll be in pretty good company for both races. ASD here, also a very proficient runner and very experienced player, and I'll be joined by Fire in a couple of minutes. So yeah, very good company, and you guys should have the best commentary you can get from those two.
All right then. So I'm gonna peace out. Thanks again for having me, and I hope to be back for comms soon. So yeah, peace everyone.
Yeah, thanks ASD. See ya.
See ya.
Okay, we are back, and the runners should be starting pretty soon. After that great first race, Jupiter took the win with some great execution and honestly great routing as well. So that was really good. And yeah, to answer your question, just Onyx, it is best of three. So since Jupiter won the first one, he should be good. If he wins the second one, then this series is finished. But if God's child clutch up the win here, then we're gonna have a third match to serve as tiebreaker.
And so, I suppose I'll take the time to introduce myself. I'll be replacing ASD. ASD only had time to commentate the first match, and so now I am here. I'm Fire1520. I'm also a randomizer player, and I'm also in this tournament. We're gonna talk more about upcoming matches, but for now, I'll be co-hosting along Mateus and giving my thoughts on what the runners do and how they had a great idea and how they had a super bad idea, yet because randomizer it paid out and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome, Fire. I'm happy to do this alongside you. And yeah, the players should be starting right now. We just gave them the okay from our perspective here, so we should be good to go in a couple of seconds here. And just to reiterate that, my Fires, yeah, we did the preliminary matches, and Jupiter came out the top seed, and Gods666thChild was the 8th seed, so they're facing each other as part of the next phase of the tournament. So yeah, they just started here. We can see the difference in the time, the synchronization here, which should be fixed in momentarily. But yeah, as ASD said in the last race, the prologue is actually a pretty important part of the game because it determines the stats that you start the game with. So finishing it in under a minute is the best case scenario, alongside finishing up with the cross sub weapon and with 0 hearts, as well as starting the fight with 41 guarantees that you have the most amount of MP that you can use for better movement and the use of spells, as well as a couple of items in your inventory. Since they're randomized, they can be a really big deal. And you start with better strength and better stats overall, so that makes for an easier time in the earlier stages of the game. Looks like the sword that they started with, it's a double hit on the ward, so that's a 2 hit on the ward, so that's really good, and it has a decent hitbox. So yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of the cape as well.
It's a good thing that devs didn't take it away. In this, we're playing casual. In this preset, if the runners do start with a library card, they are allowed to use it to skip going into dev's room. And if they do so, they get to keep their initial gear. Doesn't look like Jupiter's gonna check. And even if he did, he would probably still just save the library card for later anyway, because it is a very good item. You don't want to use it at the wrong time. It could be the difference between winning and losing, as we saw previously. Lightning Mail on the first item. It's just armor in general is not very useful. Bekatoa, that's a weapon. We don't know exactly which kind of weapon it is. We need to wait for Jupiter to check. And the first relic was Force of Echo. That's a useless relic, so they will be skipping it.
Yeah, it looks like, as I can see from the quick trip to the menu that Gods took, that they started with the mana prism as well, so that can be impactful if there's a duplicator, or even better routing in general from having a mana prism in your inventory. Yeah, God's opting to equip the armor there. It's good to take less damage, but it doesn't actually improve your speed to the first area, so not too sure about that.
Yeah, so different runners will decide to equip gear at different times. Jupiter usually does so right before the Slaughter and Gaibon. Let's see if it does it here. Yes, he decides to. Generally, you want to try to do it in places where there's no music, because if you do so, the menu loads and unloads a little bit faster. So that would be in a boss fight before the fight starts, or in transition areas like going from one area to the other, or save stations. If you can open the menu there, it can potentially save a little bit of time, so that's why he decides to do it there and not earlier. Other people decide to just skip this menu altogether, and leave it for later, such as right before Doppelganger, because you're going to be picking up more items along the way. And so if you have nothing now, it doesn't matter if you open the menu now, because you're not going to go any faster. And if you get something later, you'll save time because you don't ever open the menu. So different schools of thought here. Both players getting through the Slogger and Gaibon fight. It's a very easy fight as long as you can do the Tetris Spirit, and everyone that's in the tournament has the skill to pull it off without much issue. It's a very free fight.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick reminder here, guys. The streams are a little bit desynced here, so as you can see from the top of their screens, the Jupiter stream has like a 20-second difference from God, so just keep that in mind.
Speaking of desync, Jupiter just got Power of Mist. By itself, that relic's not very useful right now, but if they do get the Mist relic, it means that they're gonna have Flight. And even Flight aside, it's still gonna mean that they're gonna have a safety net in case things go horribly wrong. They can just press Mist and be invulnerable for as long as they need to. If they just need to get through a particularly nasty room, such as the Minotaur room in the second castle. I hate that room; it just kills you. Or maybe the Imp room on the way there. Lots of bad rooms close to one another. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Bad section overall.
Mm-hmm.
There was a quick drop for Gods666 there, a metal drop. It's a ring, so we don't know exactly what it is, but if it's a sellable, that can be the difference of buying better stuff in the shop, and that can save up a lot of time, so let's keep an eye out on that as well. He's gonna check it. It's not useful. Okay, so Jupiter seems to have a bit of a lead here already from good movement through the first areas of the game. So let's see what Gods chooses to do here to try and mitigate that.
Indeed, yes. Power of Mist does reduce the cost of Mistbat, not because it actually, like, if you can Mistbat extremely quickly, it doesn't cost any mana because you cancel the Mist transformation with the bat before you can consume your MP. But it does make it lenient so that you don't have to do it within a couple of frames and to avoid the MP loss. And even then, it also allows you to do something called Bat Drift. Shoutouts to the people that love bat drifting everywhere. You know who I'm talking about. Which improves your movement a little bit. It makes, like, you can do faster and cleaner movement if you have access to Power Mist. Jupiter doing the Doppel fight, it takes 14 hits unarmed, if I recall, something like that. The AI is very loopable, and you can just kill them without any sort of gear. If you do happen to have gear that can increase your damage output, you do it faster, but even if you don't, it's not a difficult fight. You just need to know how to do it.
Yeah, if you can get him into the loop and you have enough strength to knock him back, it's pretty trivial.
Shoutouts to the Warlock reset, in which case you deal 1 damage, and so things go pretty terribly in that preset, and you have to resort to gear or the super jank spell strap, but we don't talk about that. This is casual. It's more regular gameplay. Jupiter opting to skip that consumable item right there. It could be anything. Could be Mana Prism, could be potions for invincibility, or probably it's nothing. Probably why he decided to skip it.
Yeah, and the first progression here is actually Holy Glasses, really early, different from the last seed that we saw players having to go through all the caverns to get it. So they have the option to go to the second castle as soon as they find Flight, which they don't currently have. So let's see if any of the racers choose to do an early second castle route here. Yeah, the estimate for the casual seeds are between 40 and 80 minutes, so I think the average is about an hour, yeah.
And the casual preset is very volatile. Like it can be super fast, it can be super slow. And not only because of of the seed itself, it can also be because of your decisions as the player. Because you just don't know. You have no info on where to go. So you could make a bad seed even worse just because of your decisions in that particular seed. Jupiter farming for money, he decides to do so because he's so close to being able to buy something. Probably. Let's see if he does that.
Yeah. Ooh. Again, early bet, as well as gravity boot, so we're in for probably a fast seed, at least with good movement.
Yeah, so remember what we were talking about, that seeds can be very slow? Yeah, this one is not gonna be a slow seed. You have bad, it doesn't matter where everything else is, you're gonna finish it quickly. Now sure, it might get to a bit of an hour if it's particularly bad, but still, it's not gonna take too long. A lot of money on Jupiter's side, that's good. He can buy gear. Reminder that this is casual preset, which means that stat randomization is on, which means that the names of the items for equipment, they're not going to be very helpful to you. You have to check the description and the stats to know what they actually do, with a couple very specific exceptions. So that's why you can see Jupiter slowly moving its cursor over each and every item to see what they actually are before committing to buy them.
Yeah, and Gods will have the same amount of money because the diamond was in the fairy card check, so he just got it as well. And unless I missaw it, I think there was a Varda there that Jupiter didn't grab. So let's see if I'm wrong. Most likely. Oh, it's just a moonstone. Okay. I saw the plus in every stats and I immediately thought Varda.
Oh yeah, for sure. The only stats that we really care about are strength, pretty much. To a certain extent, you need a little bit of defense just to not take too much knockback, but that aside, you don't care about anything else. You just want attack and damage, and that's it.
Yeah, you want to kill everything you need to kill as fast as possible. After all, this is a speedrun, so...
Ooh, nice. Gods bought an elixir. Elixir is usually not necessary because in theory you're playing well and so you don't need to heal, but it can serve as a nice backup, and most importantly, and the reason why you should always try to get at least a potion if you can, is that you can use the invincibility granted by elixirs, potions, and high potions and mana prisms. I think Incurse and Anti-Venom are the only ones. Am I forgetting something?
Yeah,
I think those are yeah. So you can use those items to generate iframes, and by doing so, you can do some checks out of logic. Specifically, the Silver Ring check, you can avoid getting Spikebreaker. And that's why you should always try to get one of them. Not necessarily to heal, but just to have that option and potentially save time.
Yeah, not having to grab Spikebreaker is kind of a big deal, because if it's buried in the second castle and you can skip that check and do it early, it can save up a lot of time. So it's nice to have a potion or a like.
Yo, Black Fox, welcome back. The second race just started. Once again, there was gravity boots in library, and then the fairy card check was bad, so another very quick seed. They also have holy glasses, so they have a choice whether they warp back to entrance and do those checks that they missed, or they could go to the second castle now, because they do have flight and holy glasses.
Yeah, I think I like God's route a little bit more here, just because he can get really fluid movement from Alchemy Lab and entrance to Orox's quarters and then to keep. So I usually tend to favor that route, but I can see the argument for checking keep first. And yeah, we can see a pretty big split in routes here if one of those players chooses to go to the second castle early.
Yeah, so the advantage of going to the top is that you get access to 3 quick checks, which are Ghost Card, Leap Stone, and Power Mist. You get access to those 3. And you pass by 4 items along the way, which are guaranteed to be consumables.
Yeah.
In other words, they could be they could be library cards, which are huge, the aforementioned elixir and potion, and they could be mana prisms, which are always great. In contrast, going down is a good idea because, again, you have those checks that you have to do there anyway, and eventually you're gonna end up at the keep anyhow. It's just you're just gonna do it later. So if there was nothing at keep, you'd actually save time there because you would you would do the same checks. It's just a matter of to avoid a little bit of backtracking
and get into the progression earlier than whoever chooses to go to the keep. Yeah. But both routes kind of paid off here. Jupiter going to keep early, found Mist, and Godschild found Jewel of Open. So they just opened up a lot of other checks that they can do. But yeah, I think Jupiter kind of has the upper hand here because he will have both.
Oh no, Gods! Oh no! Okay. Press F for Gods.
Yeah, he made it eventually. But yeah, Jupiter kind of got the best routing here because by the time he gets to Silver Ring, he'll have both Jewel of Open and Mist, so he will be able to check them as long as he has something that gives him iframes to cheese. While Gods will have to do some backtracking to check Silver Ring later. Wow, the seed has it all. Jewel of Open, Mist, and Merman statue. So yeah, they can pretty much full clear the first castle here apart from the Holy Glasses check.
Now this could be a blessing in disguise too, or a curse in disguise too, I'm sorry. Because if Merman happens to have absolutely nothing, there's a world where Jupiter is going to do that check because he's going to be able to do that on his first pass, whereas Gods is not going to do it because he wants to skip it, maybe. No, actually.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they both will have access to it, so might as well just do it.
Oh, yeah, no, I guess you're right. I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking that, yeah. Thought a different route. That is very jank. Never mind then. They're both probably gonna do it. Where was Mist? Mist was that Power Mist, right?
Yeah, Power of Mist, yeah.
At keep.
And Jewel of Open, the other major progression that both players have, it was at entrance. So yeah, Jupiter has a lead here. He already did keep, and he's honestly not that far behind to Gods going through alchemy. So let's see how the players route here in order to either cement Jupiter's lead or to get Gods the lead. First lead relic for Godschild here, Heart of Lead at the Gravity Boots check. As we mentioned earlier, the players need the 5 lead relics in order to finish the game, so that's a required item. It doesn't do a lot for them right now, but you need all 5, so the earliest you get them, the earliest you can finish the game.
Gods opting to go to the Coliseum straight away. Considering he doesn't have Mist and he can do everything down in Caverns right now, this is probably not the greatest idea ever, unless he decides to do this check real quick and then go back and open the teleport, but then it's like, questionable.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, and I'm not sure. I think he'll just go to keep from here, but I think that's the point of doing the alchemy lab first, right? You do the loop.
Indeed.
Keep.
But like, you could do that later. You could just do the Jewel of Open loop and then end back at the middle of the castle anyway, and then move to keep and hope that you get missed down in the caverns. So like, or even the other thingy, the 2 rings, and hope that you get both of them by that time.
Yeah.
Less likely, but definitely possible. In
Yeah,
Jupiter's case, it doesn't matter too much because he has missed already, so you can go either
yeah,
way.
especially because they both have holy glasses, right? So as soon as you're going to the second castle, you're gonna have to go through keep. So just do it then. And if you're gods, like if you chose to go to alchemy and do the lower parts of the castle that you can finish everything, just do it now. Yeah, it makes sense. Nice movement from gods there. Pretty precise wing smashing.
Pretty good, yes.
He's gonna need a lot of that to be in a position to win this race. So it's a pretty good start.
God's losing a tiny little bit of time because he decided to do that menu before going into the door. If he had done it after getting into the room, he would have saved, like, I think half a second in menu load times for free. But yeah, that's not something you think too much about. It's just things to keep in mind if you want to analyze gameplay and try to improve. All the little things can help, especially against Jupiter, seed number 1.
Yeah. So it's actually about half a second per menu. That's a lot, actually.
No, I think it was combining both of them because like they're
Okay.
inconsistent. Like it could be more than that, but on average it's about half. Because like it depends. Like you can, even with music, you could potentially load it fast anyway. So in which case it doesn't save time. But if you do save time, it does save potentially more than that. So it's on an average about half a second.
Yeah. So Jupiter already did keep, and he is in the same room as God's Child now. So he definitely has a lead here. About three checks ahead. But yeah, this seed giving everything really early to both players. There's not a lot of room for possible gambles or a lot of difference in routing, like when to go back to the first castle if there's need to do that.
Only right now, go ring a creature, final Vlad at Holy Glasses.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that can make them have to go back to the first castle, right? So I think that kind of favors Jupiter here because he on average has a little bit better execution. So if everything is linear, he should have a little advantage there.
Oh yeah, with regards to cloaks, the randomizer randomizes the colors of the capes, which is quite fun. Unfortunately, capes are not very useful in randos, and side note here, Jupiter is doing the invincibility thing, there you go. This is allowed in this preset. In Guarded OG, this kind of exploit is not allowed, but in almost every other preset, it is allowed, and so runners are going to take advantage of it. Unlucky for Jupiter, this didn't give anything, so it's useless. And if Gods decides to, because he didn't have access to that check quickly, if he decides to just gamble and skip it, he is going to be rewarded and he's going to be saving a little bit of time trying to make that difference.
Yeah, Jupiter is opting to go back through Aurochs's quarters here to get to the caverns a little bit faster. I think this is the faster way to get to the caverns in that position. While Gods is doing the checks that he opted not to do earlier, the keep ones. So he's gonna find Miss here, and he has a choice. He has the means to check Spike Breaker, and it's not that far, so he might opt to go back for it right now, which we already know it's not the best of ideas because he doesn't have anything necessary to progress. Picking up glass cloud there, that can be helpful, but in very specific cases. And yeah, I guess if you're right there, you should pick it up. It doesn't make that much of a difference in time, and it can save you a little bit. So
It's definitely a good item to have, especially when you're doing the second castle and you have to traverse the room with the Nova Skeletons. Having that is useful. And a couple of other places with thorn weeds and stuff like that. It's a little bit helpful.
yeah, if you're misbetting as well near a pot or something, you can quickly check the item. That helps as well.
Oh no, Gods is going back. I understand why he does it, but we know that's not the right answer today.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is all for nothing.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You go back, and from there, you go through Auroch's quarters to get to the middle of the castle and then do the Jewel of Open checks. It makes sense. The problem is, we know that's wrong in this particular scenario.
Ooh, and he doesn't have mana, so he's gonna probably have to burn a mana prism here. He has 2, so it's okay. Oh, don't die, Gods. That's kind of
Gods.
close.
Come on.
Oh my
we
god.
believe in you, delay.
High potion. Yeah, there you go. Oh my god. There we go. That was closer than it needed to be. Yeah, he didn't save split because I don't think it's faster, right? As you mentioned, the faster route is to go down from here, right?
That's a good question, actually. Considering he was at Keep,
Yeah.
probably... Did he open the teleport? If he didn't open the teleport, then he doesn't have a choice. I think he didn't.
I feel like I at least pretty much always open the teleport unless I already checked everything, like I checked holy glasses and stuff, so I think he most likely opened it up, but I don't recall it. And there's Spike Breaker for Jupiter. Not necessary, but it's nice to have.
Yo, hello viewers from the main Speed Gaming channel. Welcome home. This is the Symphony of the Night Randomizer tournament. It's actually it's the first matchup of the tournament, but it is already the second match because the tournament uses a best of 3 format. Jupiter won the first race, and Now they're playing the second one. If Gods wins, we're gonna have to schedule a tiebreaker eventually. And if Jupiter wins, he's gonna be set to advance. But yeah, enjoy the tournament. This is the first time that we're partnering with SpeedGaming to present this to you. We've hosted other tournaments in the community in the past, but it was just self-hosted, not in association with SpeedGaming. So yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome everyone. Have fun. We're sure having a lot of fun watching those two proficient racers go head to head here. And yeah, Jupiter just found vanilla holy symbol there. So not very useful, but it allows for movement underwater without taking damage. So it worked out a little bit for him there. Yeah, it's even randomized.
Alright, what kind of rando is this? You gotta fix it. Everything has to be in the worst possible location, not the vanilla ones.
Yeah, someone call mouse. The randomizer is broken. Yeah, just excellent movement from
Oh, we
Jupiter
passed by a
overall.
library card? Question mark?
In the Jupiter's perspective.
Yes,
Ooh.
potentially. He's probably gonna check that later on the way
Yeah, on
back.
the way back.
Because it is pretty annoying, because you have to untransform and intentionally go out of your way to grab it up. It's just like, probably gonna do it on the way back.
Yeah, he's going through that room in a couple of minutes, so yeah. And there's the second Vlad relic for Jupiter. The Ring of Vlad. It's a nice one to have. I believe it gives int, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Fire.
I think Ring gives luck and I gives intelligence. I think. Maybe it's the other way around. It's been a while. As I said,
Yeah.
we don't really care about anything that doesn't increase strength.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's the lucky eye, but yeah, it could be the other way around.
Either way, good joke. It's a Vlad, so you need to get it.
Yeah. Ring is int, yeah. Dinner dog just confirmed. Let's see the card. It is a library card, so they have a nicer way to get back to the library from the caverns, which is most likely the best scenario to use that, given that the only unavailable check in the first castle right now is the Holy Glasses location. I assume you would library card out of the caverns in this scenario, right, Fire?
Yeah, unless one of them is a ring? If I get a ring, I think I would go back and just check it right away so that I never have to come back.
And then library card from there, right?
And then library card from there, yeah, but and even if it is a ring, I might still just library card anyway and gamble on that check being nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like neither choice is wrong, to be honest. Because remember, this is casual preset. In casual preset, every relic could be anywhere. There's no like other presets which have a set path that you kind of need to take. In this preset, everything could be everywhere, of the possible locations, of course.
Yeah.
So there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, I feel like I would probably gamble as well and use the library card here to get to the second castle faster, because the likelihood of a trip back to the first castle being necessary is really low, so I think that's the correct play.
Jupiter opting to save. That is to both refill MP, which, you know, is good. And in case there's nothing there, he can just reset and be closer to where he needs to go. This is allowed in the randomizer. You can make saves and reload them. And in fact, you can even make multiple saves if you so desire. Instead of overwriting your one save. You can do that and be at different parts of the castle if you really wanted to. It's uncommon for that strat to be used, but there are certain very specific scenarios, usually involving Galamoth, that and creature skip, that justify doing it.
Yeah, I don't think I've been playing this for like 6 months only, but I don't think I've ever came across a situation where it would be good to do that, and I thought about doing it. So yeah, very niche application. And Jupiter is doing
It's more
just
common in
that.
other presets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jupiter is doing just that. So he's saved. He's reloading his save to almost warp to the place where he was when he saved, and that's gonna kind of save a little bit of time there. Obviously, there's the save animation and the loading that the game takes the time to load everything, but it's still faster than flying all the way back to where he was.
Here we see why the Spike Breaker, although not necessary, is still helpful because it does save MP. And Jupiter also opting to check those 4 items. At this point, he doesn't really need anything. He would appreciate a duplicator, but he doesn't technically need it.
Yeah, kind of
So
a little bit greedy, but
And it's nothing. Yes, never rewarded. Here goes the library card.
yeah, Gods could have a chance here if he chose to skip the caverns, but now that we know that there was nothing there, but he's already here, so no chance of that getting into his favor. He just got a barley detail, so he's gonna be happy about that. It's, I believe, one of his favorite items in the game, so at least that. Jupiter doing a lot of menus there just to combine them as much as he can, so just using the time right after the shop to equip everything he needs.
Wild gods on lag and bitrate city.
Yeah, that took a long time to resolve.
That
Oh,
is one
Jupiter
of the
got a shield rod or Mablung.
nice. That's good. He's gonna be able to do a ton of damage now.
Yeah, the shield rod and the Mablung both have a very good application in this game. They allow for shields to be used in combination with one of those two to do special attacks, let's put it that way. So you just saw one of the best ones there. It's the Mablung with in combination with the Iron Shield. It summons the double swords there that do a lot of damage in their path. So that's pretty much the second best in regards to damage, second only to the Alucard Shield, which is the best shield in the game. And
Fire shield can do more in certain situations. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but it does take a more MP than the Iron Shield, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
So
Iron Shield takes 30, Fire Shield takes 50.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely a big plus for Jupiter. And he definitely 100% knows how to use the Iron Shield
Hmm.
effectively because it is used in the glitchless category for speedruns. And Jupiter, as he himself claims, is a glitchless main in Symphony of the Night. So he definitely knows how to kill bosses efficiently with it.
Yeah, that's gonna help him a lot. I don't believe Gods played glitchless yet. He's a very good 80% speedrunner, but it's different equipment in that run, so maybe he's not as proficient as Jupiter in that regard.
Here you go, another application of using the Iron Shield. It is not faster than using Summon Spirit in conjunction with Soul Steel, but it does save MP, because I think Summon Spirit is 5, and then Soul Steel is 50?
50,
So it's
yeah.
55 MP total, whereas the Iron Shield is just 30, so saves a little bit of MP. Not that it matters too much in this situation, because he has the mana pool to just get to the save station no matter what. But if he was in a situation with low MP, going to second castle early would be it would be helpful. And it also avoids the eventual dank metamorphosis instead of soul steal.
Yeah, that happens a lot with me. So yeah, Jupiter going relatively quickly into the second castle here, while Gods is still finishing up the first castle. So again, Jupiter with a pretty sizable lead here. Although only 2 Vlad relics, so there's a lot of room for Gods to catch up and maybe get the win and force the third race.
Yeah, best case scenario for gods is that there are 2 early Vlads, so at this point it would be Medusa and probably Akmodon or maybe Trio, because it's like right there. And then the other would be Gold Ring, and then the final Vlad would be at Holy Glasses, and then God decides to immediately warp back. He would be
Yeah.
insane for trying, but he might feel like he needs to do it, so if he tries and it pays off, that's the best scenario for him.
Yeah, I feel like he probably will feel the need to do that. Because he kind of needs a gamble here to get back into this race. So yeah, that's the pretty much the best case scenario for him. Unless he chooses to go left side.
He's not crazy to go left
Yeah,
side with 3 Vlads
yeah,
missing. No
it's
freaking way. No way.
yeah, no one does that, but yeah. Ooh, gold ring. Black Fox advocating for the left side.
This could be it. This could be. There's a legit chance
Yeah.
that the tides are gonna turn. Or maybe, okay, maybe Jupiter himself is. Nah, he's not gonna get baited into going early
Nah.
and finding off info. Like, come on.
Yeah, maybe Gods goes back right after finding the gold ring and gets the red relic if it's there, and then he only needs to go up until the second Vlad in the second castle. So in this scenario, if he opts to go back first, then the earliest the other Vlad relics are in the second castle, the better for him. So let's see if he chooses to do that. Jupiter used the shield rod spell, but it did not do enough damage to kill Lekmadan, so he needed to clean up there with some slashes and a hellfire. But it worked out fine. Great fight there. Leap stone, that's not required, but It's very good to have it. It improves your movement a lot with the bat dives, which is you do a double jump and then you dive kick and transform into bat, so you keep momentum in the direction that you're facing while you're transforming into bat, and you can combine that together with the wing smash while moving relatively quickly. So it's a good utility relic to have.
Yeah, not only is it quick, it is the most efficient way to use mana. So if you're limited in regards to your mana pool, this is the best way to use it to get the most movement out of it. It's not the fastest form of movement you can take, obviously, but like it is a staple in randomizer movement to try and stretch out your MP.
Yeah,
With that
for sure.
said, having the skill to realize, okay, I don't need to stretch out MP. I should use the little remaining that I have to go faster. Having that skill is also a big part. Like, don't get into the habit of just always dive batting, which is what we call like the double jump with a dive kick and turn it into bat. We call that dive bat. Don't get into that habit of just always doing that without thinking, because that will slow you down when you're facing a top level player, which Jupiter definitely is in
Yeah.
this situation.
God's having a little bit of trouble with Medusa there, gets the kill.
Spamming the rebound stone. You love to see it, chat.
What will he do here? He opts to continue into the second castle. Maybe he's gonna go up until the warp and then decide to come back to the first castle. Let's see.
Yeah, so there's no reason to go back to the first castle, because even if there is in fact something there, you still need to take like at best it's gonna be one relic, and you still need 3. So you have to keep going until you have at the very least 2 relics. You can only think about dipping after you've gotten those first 2.
Really, I think like if it's yeah, it makes sense because as I mentioned earlier, if he chose to go back there, then he only needs to go up until the other Vlad relics. So
No,
that was
like
my thought.
always no ifs or buts or maybes.
Okay.
If you need multiples, okay? If you only need one, and you know, for example, say a different preset with complexity that you need to go back, then sure. But if you don't know, always keep going until at
Mhm.
the very least you get the reverse Orok teleport. If you don't have
Yeah.
that, you're gonna keep going. Like even if you find something, you're just gonna keep going until at the very least. Then, so that's what Gods is gonna have to do. After that, he can think about, okay, maybe I should go back, but in this case, he shouldn't.
Yeah, I agree. I was saying just that he probably would go up until the Orcs warp and then do that. But yeah, meanwhile, Jupiter is 2 checks ahead, 2 boss fights ahead, and has better DPS with the Shield Rod spells. Choosing to wing smash to Beelzebub here it's a good strat for sure. Gets the kill really quickly. God's doing a full save here. What is he doing? Maybe a save split or just a safety save? Yeah, it might be a save split to go back and check the Holy Glasses. Oof. And he got a library card. That's crazy.
Yeah, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
Now Gods just wants to hope that there is, in fact, something in Holy Glasses, because he has a huge advantage.
Yeah. If there is something in the Holy
He's considering
Glasses,
it. Oh, he's gonna do it.
he's doing it. Let's go.
Yes, go, Gods. Best case scenario, there is something. If there is something, and like Jupiter's probably gonna go all the way to Galamoth and find
Yeah.
nothing, and then realize he has to go back. So this could be God's race right here. It could
Exactly. But I feel like even though he's doing this, he needs the remaining Vlad relics. I think it's only one, right? If we're considering the last one in the Holy Glasses check, he needs it to be like really quickly here into the second castle, because he needs to go up until Beast to get the eye. And if it's at Galamoth, I think Jupiter still might have this. So let's see what the seed displayed here in relic wise. Ooh, nice creature kill by Jupiter there. Really smooth, yeah. It's not a creature. So, as my friend and co-commentator here, Fire, would say, always keep creature. Not in this scenario, it's just a meme.
always skip creature. You don't even need to think about it. Just do it.
Yeah, Black Fox, like, Gods would probably lose if this is the wrong play. So I think he made the correct decision to go back and gamble on that for sure. I guess we'll know in about 30 seconds whether or not this is the correct decision. So yeah, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because we might have a race here.
Yeah, with our current information, we know it's a 2 and 5. Those are not bad odds.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Now, Gods doesn't know that because his information is different than Jupiter, but like us as
Yeah.
commentators together, we know it's a 2 and 5. He gets it or he doesn't.
Let's see. Oof.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with much sadness that I will announce to you that Gods just lost a ton of time.
Yeah. That hurts for sure. So yeah, Jupiter just found the fourth Vlad relic, Force of Echo. So there's only 3 checks that we don't know what's there, and one of them is right below the area that Jupiter is. And then there's Death and Galamoth. So Jupiter is really close to finishing here. Gods did not open the teleporter, so not that he needed, because I think Jupiter would be finished by then, but opting to use an attack potion to fight Doppelganger 40 here, Jupiter did, and yeah, it made for a pretty quick kill. Yeah, Jupiter needs to
Interesting
die.
that he didn't use the Medusa shield. I guess he
Oh
forgot.
yeah. The Medusa shield would be way better there for sure. It would stone. Oh, and there it is, the 5th Vlad relic for Jupiter. So yeah, apart from a death by Jupiter, I think this series is over. Yeah, he has Mablongan and shield, so probably we won't see death here.
Yeah, and even if he runs out, he still has Mist and Power Mist to just press a button and if he gets like a brain fart or something. So I don't
Yeah.
see he's going any other way.
It is randomizer though, so anything can happen, but it's not looking like it. Yeah, I don't think even losing connection here for Jupiter is enough. He would have to run out of power or something.
Yeah, for those of you that are unaware about Symphony of the Night randomizers, we have a tool, which is part of the tracker, in fact, that saves a custom replay file so that you can actually get that file and compare your route to someone else. So even if he somehow loses connection for like a day or something, he still has proof that he did everything he did. So that is not an issue, even if there's like a huge connection drop and a lot. Like even if you're not streaming, technically we do have ways to verify that you did what you did. And even then, it's just a great tool to compare your route and see, okay, I went there and someone else went the other way, and then compare the two and see which one got there faster, like with a visual indication of the map. It's a really good tool.
Yeah, very useful to go back and compare routes and stuff, and just to in general to see where you can improve and do things different. I use it a lot as well. Jupiter watched a little bit of the cutscene there. Yeah, God's just now picking up the third red relic, while Jupiter is finishing up the seed. So pretty good use of the Shield Rod spell, doing the spell from one way to another. And there it is. That's time for Jupiter. And that's his second win. And the series is officially over. Jupiter is through to the next phase. GG's to both runners.
GG Jupiter. Congratulations on advancing to the top 4. And then, I'm sorry, gods, you're out of the tournament. This is single elimination best of 3. So yeah, still, it was a fun race. We should get gods joining us somewhat soon.
Yeah. But yeah, GG's to both players. Gods played really well, and Jupiter as well. He got both wins with great execution and great routing. He's gonna be a tough one to beat in the route to the championship. So yeah, he has been playing greatly, especially recently in the tournament. He, as we said before, he's the top seed, and he's playing really well. So watch out, this tournament might be his for the taking. But yeah, let's try and get Gods666thChild here to do a little commentating, after race commentating, so we can get a little bit of his perspective. Yeah, we're back here with Gods666thChild, and GG's to Gods. Great racing. So, what are your thoughts about both races?
Honestly, my thoughts about both races is that when it comes to early bat, I feel like I'm at a slight disadvantage just because of how proficient Jupiter is. Jupiter's an animal and just raw talent. So I knew when it came to that, definitely would have an advantage. Other than that, my shopping was really horrible. I was buying things I didn't even need to buy. I was always chasing complexity. As we know, it's casual, but if if you didn't chase complexity, then that would be the relic. Blah blah blah. So I had fun. It's unfortunate that I wasn't closer in terms of competition, but I'm still happy to be here, and I'm glad this happened.
Yeah, you actually did great, and I think you did the best decision there, going back for the Holy Glasses check. So tell us a little bit about that decision specifically.
Um, I think where was Holy Glasses? Was it elevator?
Yeah, outer wall, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that there would be a reason to come back just because I know because glasses was zero complexity. I don't
hmm
know, for some reason in my head I was like, well, it probably wants me to grab something and come back. Um if it was in a flight location or something, then I probably wouldn't, but maybe I'm just not understanding the logic as much as I thought I did.
Yeah, me and Fire watching that, we thought that was more a gamble decision than anything else. Like, oh, I might be behind, so let's try and get an advantage doing this gamble and doing that check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah, it
sure.
was definitely a fair choice. It just didn't
That
pay out.
That was a thought. I mean, honestly, I should have taken more risks, but because that's the only real reason or way I can gain time on somebody who's really good at movement, right? So I went for it because if Jupiter stayed in stayed in second castle, full cleared second, had to come back to first, then all I would have done was grabbed Holy Glasses and then grabbed the last Vlad wherever the last stop was in second castle, and I would have had to complete the whole second
hmm
castle, right? So yeah, that was definitely a thought where I had to take a chance, I had to take a gamble. That was a convenient library card. I was really hoping that would work out, but
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is leading into it," but unfortunately not. So that's the way she goes.
Yeah, absolutely. But nonetheless, GG's, you did great. And now we have Jupiter here as well. So GG's Jupiter, great races. And tell us a little bit about the both races, please.
Hey, what's up? Well, first of all, great games, Gods666thChild. Had a lot of fun with those. Definitely some interesting seeds. My
Absolutely.
first thought was game two. Medusa Shield was a tremendous disappointment to me. I switched off, you'll notice, after Beelzebub. I just couldn't believe how quickly those lasers were despawning. It's a really good shield spell, but maybe not so great on Trio and Beelzebub. Iron Shield was fine, thankfully.
Yeah, the lasers went off screen really quickly in the beast fight. I would have switched up as well.
Oh wow.
Overall, I feel like my movement was pretty good. I really tried to focus on minimizing menu time, which I think helped. There were probably some spots I should have switched gear, but I really feel like in casual in particular, because all the items are randomized, you're going to end up saving maybe a minute with good menus versus mediocre menus. So that's the point of focus for me. I'll have to go back and watch the VOD, see what else I could have improved on. I bought a lot of Buffalo Stars game two. I thought I might use them. Then I realized afterwards I had a mob lung. At that point, really no need.
Yeah, I don't think Gods had the map long or didn't realize that he had, but yeah, there was a really big advantage DPS for you, Jupiter. So yeah, that made up a lot of time as well
Gods,
in
were
boss
you at
fights.
all tempted game two to head to Castle 2 early?
No, actually. I was pretty set on making sure I full cleared it because I didn't want to leave something behind. I was paranoid. I was getting in my own head. Um, Especially with I didn't have a lot of damage. I had a double hit sword, but I think it was okay. But I was not confident going second early.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I was very borderline. If I had had a library card by the time I hit Castle Keep, I would have done it. And I think in this seed, you ended up skipping what? Death, Galamoth, and I think that was it in Castle 2. So I think the routes would have been pretty close, because if you go Castle 2 first, then come back to Castle 1, you can skip everything in Catacombs with
Right.
Last Vlad at Merman Statue. So that would have been a really interesting divergence. I think two roughly equal routes, but it sounds like we both stayed in Castle 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire, wanna add something here?
No, I think this is these are some examples of very I wouldn't say safe, but like standard races. Like the decisions you took were a little bit different in a couple of spots, but no like wild decisions such as going to an early second castle or skipping a whole bunch of checks left and right and going to the left side. We were so hoping that you went left on the first race gods. It would have been amazing. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Understandable though. The safest place to go to the right. But yeah, but it was very standard. What wasn't standard is you guys getting bat by library. It's like, where's the suffering with like mist and I'm sorry, grav boots and leapstone to traverse second castle? We like suffering on this stream.
Hey, you know what? I think as us racers, we were very happy to see Bat.
You know,
Yeah,
I
both
think on the
fleets.
point about potential gambles going forward, that is going to change. One of the exciting things about the casual preset we're using, this is an upset preset. So any race going forward, I was very nervous both games. I felt like I was playing really well, but it's just so unpredictable. I was dreading opening up the race spot to see every time. We're going to see some upsets big time this tournament. I think gambles are very strong. Stuff like early Castle 2 or just skipping the slower checks. So, yeah, for those tuning into the tournament for the first time who maybe aren't SotN regulars, if you like upsets, please do give some of the follow-up matches a watch. I think there's going to be some crazy action happening.
Speaking of follow-up matches, if you like what you see today, we actually do have 2 more matches scheduled. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST or EDT, same thing in this case. There's gonna be Dinner Dog versus Matthias. They're gonna take 2 matches, one at 8 and another at 9:30 p.m. And then on the following day, so Wednesday, again at the same time, 8 p.m., I am gonna be facing Mr. Razio. So if you're wanting for more SotN action, you've got it for this week, and it's going to be great.
We'll be there.